that the basic source of electricity is charge, where charge has been acquired from an atom which consists of electrons in its outermost orbit and protons which are contained inside the nucleus. The electrons are having negative charge and protons with positive, therefore overall making it a neutral body. So the basic reason why any electrical equipment runs is charge, and since electrons are on the outermost orbit, therefore it is very easy to remove them. Hence, the source of electricity or current to work, we require electrons to move through a conductor from one place to another inside or in a circuit from one end to the other, following a cyclic process. If we move on to our next topic, that is charge, it is simply excess or deficiency of electrons, where excess of electrons are representing a negative charge inside a helium atom having -3 and +2. Same way, deficiency of electrons having only one electron for helium atom representing +2 and -1 charge here. So from this we can confirm that electric charge is defined simply as excess or deficiency of electrons. If we move further, we have to go through the properties of charge. So the very first property that comes is quantization. Quantization refers as the amount of charge transferred will be equal to the integral multiple of basic unit of charge. The basic unit of charge is given by 1.6 into 10 to the power -19, having Coulomb as its SI unit. If it is an electron, it will have a negative charge. If it is a proton, it will have same positive charge. Then the second property that comes is that like charges repel and unlike attract each other. Therefore, if you are bringing any two positive charges together, they will be repelling each other, or two negative charges together, they will be repelling each other. If we are bringing any opposite combination like plus or minus together, the force of attraction between them will be attraction here. If we are bringing any positive with another positive, here repulsion will happen. So the force of attraction is represented by electric field lines, which we will be studying in class 12. So far we only have the property which tells whether they will be repelling or whether they will be attracting. How or why they happens, this we will study in higher class. Then if we move on to our next topic, we have electric current. It is simply defined as the amount of charge flowing through a conductor in a given time. The charge which is measured in coulombs, and whatever is the time for a given conductor. In this chapter, mostly we will be discussing about metals only. There will not be any discussion about insulator or resistor. This chapter is purely based on conductors and flow of charge through a conductor. Therefore, from here, if we look at SI unit of current, it will come out as ampere, which will be expressed as coulomb per second or charge upon time. Here, when we are considering charge, it is flowing in one particular direction. Therefore, it is a scalar quantity. It is not flowing on its own will. It is flowing according to the movement of charge. Therefore, it is a scalar quantity. It does not have any particular direction of its own. Only magnitude is there. There is no direction. Then, if we take a circuit where we have a current of 5 ampere and a current of 15 ampere, therefore total current coming out from this side will be equal to 20 ampere. Therefore, current addition will follow simple scalar addition in mathematics. There is no special requirement for calculation of current in different wires. It will be simply summation of two quantities flowing in the same direction. If we take similar way, if any current is flowing here 5 ampere and from here one current is coming of 10 ampere, from this wire current will flow out of 15 ampere. This is the way we can verify. Therefore, law of conservation of charge is always valid whenever we are calculating the values of current. Whatever charge is going from one wire, if it is disappearing from one wire, it has to appear on the other wire or other conductor. Moving from electric current, we have our next topic as electric potential, which is defined as amount of work done to move a unit charge from one place to another. Where mathematically it is expressed as capital V, which is equal to amount of work done to move a charge. If we see diagrammatically, we have a conductor where we require to bring an electron or charge from any far distance away. Therefore, the amount of work which will be done, that work and to bring that amount of charge, that will be considered as its potential. Potential simply is known as capability of any material. Whether any material can bring an electron near to it or can send away any electron far from it. According to that, we have electric potential. A similar topic under this that comes is potential difference. It is defined as amount of work done to bring unit charge from one place to another. The difference between the two is here we are bringing an electron from infinite position to a conductor position. In potential difference, we are bringing an electron from position A to position B or position B to position C. Therefore, potential at point A is expressed as work done to bring the charge up to point A. Similarly, potential at point B is expressed as work done to bring the charge up to point B. Hence, potential difference is expressed by same letter. It will be the difference between the two values, which is work done from point B to bring that particular value of charge from one position to another. If we look at SI unit here, it is expressed here as joule per coulomb or simply volt. Both ways it is can be set as SI unit. Also, it is a scalar quantity because we are not defining from which direction this electron will come towards the conductor. It can come from any random direction. Therefore, work done to bring any electron from any position will be same. Hence, it will be a scalar quantity. When we combine these two, electrical current and electrical potential together, we get a relation which is known as Ohm's law. Where this is expressed as the potential difference across the ends of a conductor is directly proportional to amount of current provided temperature and physical state remains constant. That means we have to keep temperature as well as solid state of the material. There should be not happening. The temperature should not take place, as well as if a wire is there which is in solid shape, it should not increase or change its shape to liquid. It should not get any increment in its length, increment in its cross section area. Same way, we have to keep all other environmental conditions constant for a conductor. It is only valid for a conductor. Therefore, it is expressed simply as potential difference is directly proportional to current. To remove this proportionality sign, we have multiplied with a constant which is known as resistance of a conductor, which is expressed as ratio of potential difference and current. Therefore, it will have an SI unit of volt per ampere. It can be expressed also as ohm. Again, we have a scalar quantity in the numerator section, a scalar quantity in the denominator section. Therefore, it will also be a scalar quantity, where we can express resistance in one particular type of SI unit and check whether it is a scalar or vector. If we see any different method for calculating the value of resistance or any other mathematical equation for resistance, I can express R as V upon I, where V is expressed as work done upon charge and current is expressed as charge upon time. Therefore, from here, if I take the SI unit, I will get joule second per coulomb square. There also, therefore, resistance can be expressed as volt per ampere, it can be expressed as ohm, it can be also expressed as joule second per coulomb square. We have got second relation using the original equations of potential difference and electric current. Moving further, whenever any electrical device like resistance having material is connected like a wire, if any wire is there will be some resistance. Resistance simply is defined as obstruction in the path of flow of current or hindrance in the path of flow of electrons. Both ways we can take and we can define. It will be simply expressed as obstruction to the flow of current or electrons. Both ways we can express, either only for conductor or for a wire. When we will connect these devices having some resistance in an electrical circuit, there are two types of connections mainly possible. The very first connection is resistance in series and resistance in parallel. So to know how to express any type of electrical equipment in the form of electrical circuit, there is a page uploaded. You can see on that. Before we move on into combination of series and parallel resistance, we have to understand how any electrical equipment is represented in an electrical circuit. Therefore, we have a list of 10 things which we require to make an electrical circuit, where a connecting wire will be simply represented by a line. If two wires are joined, they will be represented by a dot at those points. If two wires are not touching each other but they are crossing each other, they will be represented in this manner. Whereas a resistance is represented by zigzag motion and two connections on both sides. Same way, we have a battery having positive and negative terminal. If we have multiple number of batteries, we will simply connect one's positive with another's negative, followed by a small gap. This is how we will connect a group of cells. A variable resistor where resistance can keep changing either by its own or by manual handling. Therefore, an arrow is represented on the top of resistance, showing that it is a variable resistance or it is a rheostat, where we use for a plug or a switch for an open condition. Similar way, if we put a dot, it will be for a closed condition. Another way to represent a switch will be in this format, known as tap switch. Ammeter is simply an A representation inside a circuit followed by positive and negative. Ammeter is a device which is used to measure current in the circuit. Similar way, to measure potential difference in the circuit, we require a voltmeter represented by V followed by plus and minus inside a circuit. We have a collection of multiple resistance together in a box known as resistance box, represented by a rectangular section and having two end connections. Therefore, to understand how resistance in series will work, consider a group of resistors connected from end to end and by a source of a battery, a DC battery. The difference between DC and AC we will come to discuss in our next video. So here, if I take resistance in series where I have three resistors connected from end to end by a source of external battery in such manner, having plus and minus. Before we go further, two things important to remember in this circuit. Whenever there is series connection, potential difference will be divided or will go separately along each section. And current will not change. In parallel circuit, opposite of this happens. In parallel, current will be divided and potential difference will not change. Therefore, if total potential is expressed by capital V and resistances of three resistors is expressed as R1, R2, R3 respectively, therefore total potential across three resistors will be equal to sum of individual potential across each resistor. From here to here, potential is V1, V2 and V3. Therefore, total potential will be equal to summation of individual potentials, where total potential as per Ohm's law will be expressed as current and total resistance in series. We can say RS or REQ, resistance equivalent. Both are correct. Therefore, total current and resistance in series will be equal to current across R1 resistance and summation of current across all the three and product of these resistances. IR1 plus IR2 plus IR3. Therefore, I is common, it will be cancelled out. Hence, we will get resistance in series is simply summation of individual resistances. The total resistance in any type of series circuit will be always sum of all the resistances taken together. Similar way, if we connect resistance in parallel, we will get a different type of circuit. Where three resistances R1, R2, R3 are connected in parallel by a source of a battery. As I said earlier, opposite process will happen, that is, current will remain divided and potential will remain same. Therefore, the total current, if I is flowing, here I1 will go, here I2 will go, here I3 will go. The current across each resistor will be different. If it is different, therefore, according to law of conservation of charge or current, if we take, the total current in the circuit will be equal to sum of individual currents. According to Ohm's law, total current will be equal to potential by resistance in parallel. Similar way, current across first resistor will be equal to potential by resistance across first one. Similar way, potential by R2 and potential by R3. Hence, potential is common. Therefore, we will get 1 upon R in parallel is equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3. This is how parallel combination to calculate total resistance in the circuit. So that if any n number of devices are connected, we will get general formula for n resistors in parallel as 1 upon resistance in parallel is equal to 1 upon R1 plus 1 by R2 up to 1 upon Rn. If all the resistances are same, it will be equal to 1 upon resistance in parallel is equal to resistance in parallel will be equal to R by N. If all the resistances are same, we will get this as our desired output. If same way we consider for n resistances connected in series, we will get for our outcome for n resistances as n into R. This will be our outcome for resistances connected in series, and value of each resistance is same. Here also value will be same, then only we can use R by N as combined consideration.